Imagine these an entire company holding its breath. The CEO, a man known for his sharp suits, sharper tongue, and his infamous challenges, stood on stage in front of his employees and repeated his favorite line, "If you can fix it, you can keep it." It was the rule that made his empire famous. Broken machines, outdated projects, even struggling departments. If someone had the courage to repair them, they earned ownership, recognition, and sometimes even fortune. Employees called it madness, others called it genius, but no one, not even the CEO himself, expected that one day, a janitor's daughter would change everything, and not with tools, but with a dance. Now, before we dive into this heart-twisting story, let me remind you, if you love tales that inspire, make you smile, and maybe even bring a tear to your eyes, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is more than just a story. It's a reminder that greatness can come from anywhere. The janitor, Mr. Rafik, had worked at the company for over 2 decades. Every night, while the office towers emptied and executives drove home in shiny cars, he stayed behind mopping floors, fixing flickering lights, tightening screws in chairs that wobbled under the weight of ambition. He had pride in his work, but he carried a quiet sadness too. His wife had passed years ago, leaving him to raise his only daughter, Nur, alone. She was his world, and while Rafik scrubbed floors, Nur dreamed of dancing at though in their tiny apartment above the city's noise. Her stage was nothing more than cracked tiles and old drugs. One day, disaster struck the company. The CEO's prized innovation, a robotic prototype meant to revolutionize production, broke down completely during a major investor meeting. Sparks flew, gears jammed, and the investors nearly walked out. In his rage, the CEO repeated his golden challenge in front of everyone, "If you can fix it, you can keep it." A hush fell. Engineers looked at one another, terrified. No one stepped forward. That night, after everyone left, Mr. Rafik wandered into the lab where the broken prototypes sat abandoned. He was no engineer, but he had spent years quietly repairing things nobody noticed. The old coffee machines, the leaking pipes, the air conditioners that kept executives comfortable. He studied the robot, his rough hands trembling. Nur, who often waited for him at the building late into the night, walked in and saw her father staring at the machine. "Baba, a broken bar, will you try to fix it?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "I'm just a janitor." "Nur?" They laughed, but Nur shook her head, her eyes burning with determination. "They laughed when I danced at school too, but I kept dancing." Her words pierced him. That night, he rolled up his sleeves and started tinkering. Hours turned into days. Nur would sit nearby, sometimes humming softly, sometimes moving gracefully in the empty halls to ease her father's exhaustion. Her dance was more than rhythm, it was hope. Weeks later, the day of truth arrived. In front of the CEO and the board, Mr. Rafik wheeled in the robot, silent, polished, repaired. At first, nothing happened. The CEO folded his arms, smirking as whispers rippled through the room. Then, with a whir, the robot powered on, moving smoothly, stronger than before. Gasps filled the hall. The janitor had done what teams of engineers couldn't. The CEO, though impressed, was reluctant to show admiration. "You fixed it. Fine. Then by my rulie it's yours. But tell me, what will a janitor do with $1 million machine?" Rafik didn't answer immediately. Before he could speak, Nur stepped forward, her heart pounding. She looked at the robot, then at the polished floor beneath her feet. With music playing faintly from her phone, she began to dance. The robot mirrored her movements, graceful, precise, powerful. Everyone froze, their eyes locked on the stage. The janitor's daughter was no longer invisible. She wasn't just dancing, she was commanding the room, rewriting the company's destiny with every step. The CEO leaned forward, astonished. Investors who had once scoffed now applauded. The room erupted, not just for the robot, but for the girl who showed them something they never expected. Art where there should have been machines, beauty where there should have been steel. From that day forward, Nura's life transformed. The company didn't just back her father's repaired machinery, they sponsored Nura as the face of a new program, merging technology with art, robotics with creativity. The janitor, once overlooked, became a hero within the company. And the CEO, who had built his empire on fixing broken things, learned that sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't machines or profits, but the hidden talents waiting to be seen. As the story spread, people across the city whispered about the janitor's daughter who danced her way into history, and the CEO who had to eat his own words. But if you ask Mr. Rafik, he would simply say, "I fixed a machine, a broken bar, but she fixed my heart." And that, my friends, is the message I want to leave you with tonight. No matter how small your beginnings, no matter who doubts you, never stop dancing to the rhythm inside you, because one day, the world will notice. If this story touched you, if it made you feel even a spark of inspiration, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that their dreams, no matter how hidden, matter too. Because just like Noah, and just like your father, you never know when your moment to shine will come.